everyone, it's Shel C from Paper Rock TO Studio. Today I'm sharing with you my mixed media art journal page for Mission Inspiration February. That's Mike Deacon's group, combined with Color Me Positive week number 6. I'm behind, so I'm combining things. But before I start my page, I want to tell you a couple things. First of all, the Pick a Stick challenge for my group is up for February. I will link the video of picking the sticks as well as the link to our Facebook page down below the video where it says click for more. You can see those links. And also, I wanted to tell you that I'm going to be on Craft It Live show tomorrow. Crafting Live. I'm very nervous. No editing. We'll see how that goes. If you want to come and watch, I will link craftshack.com below where you can click on the link Watch Now and see it live. It's at noon Mountain Time on Tuesday, February 9th. If you don't make it, you can watch the recording and that I'll link her YouTube channel as well. Okay, let's get started with this challenge. The first thing was to apply 2 colors using your fingers. I decided to use gelatos and blend them with my fingers. I am using my fingers, not necessarily applying the color with my fingers. Little cheat there, you know. What can you say? I don't usually use just 2 colors. I usually try to go for a 3-color palette at least. So I will be adding a green later, and then I'm actually going to add another 4th color that's complementary. But for this, I'm blending with my finger, just like rubbing my finger on that baby wipe to make it slightly moist. What I should have done was to put a coat of gesso on the page before I even started, because down there at the bottom, my paper completely started to rub off and peeled up into little balls. So I was like, wow, that's weird. The next thing is to add a torn magazine advertisement, fragment. It says fragments. You could have done more than one. This is from a ad that is about taking care of your heart. And I liked the scribbly crayon drawing type of effect that this ad had. So I made a copy of it and used it. That's actually a printer copy because the ad was online. It was on something that I was looking for my mother. So anyway, next step was to add a thin coat of gesso. And I wasn't just going to put gesso over the whole thing because I was fine with the colors. I didn't feel that they needed to be toned down. So I'm just applying gesso with my finger and creating interest by making it both horizontal and vertical. Just, because I can. That's why. The next one was to add texture paste through a stencil. I don't have like a big bucket of texture paste, but I have this stuff that I made myself using baby powder and gesso. I think there was something else, probably water. I don't know. Anyway, it works okay, but it's old and it's gloppy. That's a technical term. It's very gloppy, so I was struggling with it. I also wanted to add another color, as I mentioned earlier. So I wanted to add green because yellow and blue makes green, so that would be complementary to the color scheme. Plus, there's some green in the little stem on the heart flower. So I mixed in acrylic paint with my texture paste, and then it wasn't quite the right color, so I added a little bit of yellow acrylic ink to make it more of a warm green instead of a cool green. And just applying it with a plastic palette knife. I know a lot of people do this. I probably should do this more, but I need to get some actual product that is texture paste because I did have some samples from the Craft Shack, but I've used them up. Gloppy, very gloppy. So then of course I dried it The next thing to do was to make marks with a brush or comb. So I got out a cheap comb, and I didn't want to make scratchy, scribbly marks with it, so I used it to do splatters. And it actually worked extremely well, and I may continue doing this for splatters because it made a nice medium-sized splatter without too much fuss, and I felt like I could direct where I wanted the splatters to go better than I can with my fan brush. It usually just, splatters all over the place, including all over my desk, and everything that's on my desk has splatters on it. So the comb actually worked pretty well. And it's just, a 99-cent comb from Sally's Beauty or something. I use it for hair cutting. Yes, I cut people's hair. It's crazy. So I used two different colors, a light green, which you really can't see in the video, and then a dark blue to make splatters. And that was pretty fun. I liked it. Different. And some more drawing. The next thing was to do Adhere book text shapes. So I just tore out a page from a book, a little paperback that I use for this. And then I wanted to mimic the flower so that I could continue that element on the other side of my page. So I used my Neocolor 2 crayons because it is kind of a crayon looking situation with that drawing. And I made little heart flowers on the text. And then I decided I needed a stem, so I just kind of made a squiggly cut on the text. And then I decided, well, if there's a stem, there's got to be leaves. So I got the Neocolor 2's back out and made some leaves as well. And I think this really turned out well. I was happy with how it looks on the page, and it sort of drew the colors and the elements all together onto the left-hand side of my 2-page. This is my small Dilutions journal, in case you guys were wondering. You probably weren't, but I'll tell you anyway. You guys might be wondering, okay, you're on week 6 of Color Me Positive. What happened to week 5 and week 4? I'm wondering that too. I lost 2 weeks there, so I left a couple page, 2-page spread things before this one so that I can fill back in on those other weeks that I just completely missed because of being a little bit ill and a little bit out of touch with reality and whatever, So I'll be doing those later. I've got so much stuff to do. It's crazy. So the next thing was to use 2 rubber stamps containing text. And I looked around for different things. I decided that numbers was text. I'm not sure if it technically is. But too bad. I like this stamp for just, randomness. And you saw me opening my brand new blue archival ink. I've only had black. I started out with black, and then I got water can gray and potting soil. I think it's called brown. I was going with neutrals, and then I was at a scrapbooking store and I got a few more colors. I wasn't supposed to be spending money, but I did get a few more colors of archival because the reason is because all my other inks are dye based and they run with water. So they just don't work with mixed media at all. If you're not going to put another layer on top, they're fine, but if you need something that's going to be an in-between layer, you really need an ink that doesn't run. And archival by Ranger or else StazOn is generally the best choices. StazOn smells weird, so I prefer the archival. Now this is me fussing. I got a little bit of that blue ink on the thumb, and I wanted to get rid of it. And what I should have done was just painted the whole thing with gesso, painted over the blue with gesso, let it dry, and then went over it with my skin tone crayons or skin tone paint. But of course, I went with the crayons first, and then I put the gesso, and then I put the crayons again, and then it got yucky, and then I dried it, the whole thing. Wasn't thinking very well. This was very late at night. I wasn't using my brain. Okay, the next thing is to add doodles with a colored pen. That would be not black or white. I would guess that that was the intention. So I decided to use a color that is complementary and on the opposite side of the blue. So blue and orange are opposites of each other, but they go really well together. So I decided to use my orange Posca pen and just, add a few little, splashes of color here and there. Still fussing with that spot where I got blue on the, yeah. Fussing, fussing, fussing. Make it stop. So my doodle started out with just drawing some little lines around the pluses, the green pluses in a few random places. And then I wanted to add that color to the centers of the flowers, so I did that. And then I did these swirly things, which I don't really like. The next thing was to add a quote or phrase like a ransom note. Now, this is an excellent prompt. This is my favorite. I love this. I needed letters, and I had a few that I'd started to cut up these magazines that were given to me by Katie, my new friend and viewer, because before I was whining about not having any, and she sent me a couple, and along with a bunch of other really cool stuff. She's awesome. So I'm not going to make you sit through me cutting out. This was the thing that took the longest, but it was such a unique prompt. So thank you, Mike. That's really a cool one. I like it. Um, yeah, through the magic of television, we are done with all that cutting, which took me a while to find all the letters and decide what I wanted to say. So the prompt this week for Color Me Positive is about being kind, and I like this saying. I don't know who said it, but kindness is contagious. It's true. If you're kind to someone, that they'll be kind to the next person, and on and so forth. They'll be kind to you. They'll be kind to someone else, and it really is. It spreads like a virus, and thus so negativity as well. If you're in a bad mood and you're growling at people, then they're going to be growling at someone else, and so we have to think about what our actions do to other people. It's hard to control sometimes. But so that's what I wanted to put. Kindness is contagious. And so I cut out all the letters from the magazines. Poor magazines. I cut them up. I was originally going to put kindness at the top, and then, but then the split, such a big split, bothered me, so I decided to move it down. But then I end up with a strange blank spot at the top, but I think it's okay. It's got enough stuff. I kept moving them. And I guess I didn't mention I adhere everything to this page today using the Deco Arts decoupage in satin finish. So it's not a complete matte, it's a satin. That's what I use today. I like using liquid glue for thin paper, and I like using a gel or paste type glue for thicker paper. And this one is a liquid. It's similar to Mod Podge or Collage Podge or any of those. But it does have a little bit of a shine to it. Okay, the very last step in Mike Deacon's challenge is to create a border with washi tape. You can see that I need a new system for my washi tape. It's overfull and everything keeps falling out, and I need a bigger basket or something, or less washi tape, one or the other. I'm sure that I could add to that collection easily because it's so fun when you see it at the store. It's like, oh, look at these colors and look at these patterns. I want them. But what I end up using is this very thin actual washi tape. I think it's really made out of rice paper. and I ordered it on Amazon, and it came from Japan. It was it took a long time to get here, but it's thin and it has some different colors. I didn't want just a flat, plain one color border all the way around. That's boring. So I picked some different colors of it because it came in several different colors. And I've got a blue and a bright green and an orange and a yellow. And I'm just kind of randomly staggering the colors. I'm not thinking too much about it. Just, is it visually appealing and not really, oh, I need to make it in some sort of order. We got to go blue, orange, green, yellow, blue, orange, green, yellow. No, it's nothing like that. I just I'm randomly putting it on in different sizes and different colors. And I don't trust washi tape to stay stuck, so I'm using my satin Deco Arts glue to go under it and over it, and then it should stay on there. I don't usually put borders on my pages, so this is kind of different. Sometimes I'll like sponge a little bit of dark color around my page or something like that, but this is the first time I've ever made a washi tape border that I can recall. And I like how it turned out. So I hope that all of you who are watching and like doing art journaling are joining in different challenges. These are so much fun. It's so fun to just not have to think and have these steps that you follow, and you can interpret the steps the way you want. You can add other things if you want to. Really enjoying it. We have our groups pick a chick, pick a chick. Oh my goodness, pick a stick challenge, which is a similar idea, and then this is Mike Deacon's, and I don't know, a lot of fun, having a lot of fun. So I wanted to add some white because that's just how I do. So I got out in my white Posca, and I'm just adding like some little ruffles around the edges of the hearts and just little highlights on the leaves, things like that. And then it was really bothering me that the quote isn't standing out from the page. It still bothers me. I didn't really completely fix it. I didn't want to use black because I thought that would be too harsh. It would just be too black. And so I decided to use dark blue. This is an Inktense pencil, and Inktense are unique. They turn into ink when you activate them with water, and then once they dry, they're permanent. So I like them, and I thought the dark blue would be a good choice, and I'm activating it with my water barrel brush here. Still isn't quite dark enough. I still might go back in there with black. But you won't see it because this video is already done. So if I do, you'll never know. It'll be a secret. Ha ha. So I activate all that, and then I'm like, what should I do? I don't know. It's still not standing out. So I get out my thicker medium point white Posca. My others are the fine points, and I just do some random scratchy lines around them as well with the white, thinking that adds a highlight and maybe that'll bring it out a little bit more. But still, I might just go right after this and do that black. I don't know. Anyway, this was fun. Check the links below if you like this video. Like it, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun things. That really does help me and help YouTube know that I'm making something valuable. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.